also just ask that if you're not speaking, that you mute your microphone, just so that we can have a clear audio for that recording. And with that, I'm going to introduce Bobby. I think many of you are very familiar with him, but for those who aren't, Bobby will be moderating the discussion today. He is a class of '92, and he had more than 1,000 career points here at Husson and made 3 trips to the NAIA National Championship. He was inducted into the Husson Sports Hall of Fame in 2004 and has been part of the 92.9 broadcasting team covering many men's and women's Husson basketball games over the years. So a familiar face and voice to many of you. So with that, I will turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Christina. And thanks everybody for joining tonight. It's really great to actually see everyone. And thank you to you and Warren for thinking of me. I'm honored to head this up tonight as the moderator. And we're going to keep it really informal. I'd ask when we get to the question and answer part, just raise your hand if you have a question. We have a lot of great questions that folks who had registered had already sent in, so we'll get to those. Christina covered kind of my background. I've been part of the Husson community since 1988, the summer of '88, when I transferred to Husson from UMaine, and I still continue to be. I know my youngest daughter is on the call right now. She's in her 5th year at Husson in the pharmacy program. Going back, I met my wife at Husson. Some of my best lifelong friends, including at least 2 or more that are on here right now, I met at Husson. And my oldest daughter graduated from Husson from the nursing program. And I talked to her about 15 minutes ago, and she was on her way to work to, work in the COVID unit and take care of some really sick people. So, I'm awful proud of her and, what she accomplished at Husson and continues to accomplish. So just great to really be a part of the whole Husson community, not just basketball, but the thing in general. So what I'd like to do is, we'll introduce first Coach Caruso. He's entering his 27th year. And I'm sure, Coach, as you tell us a little bit about yourself, the year, I know you say year to year is different, different players, different things, but certainly this year is a lot more different than other years. I'd have you maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and then speak to, the big change that's, going on right now for you.
Yeah, I think, my background's well known. I've been here since birth, but I got to campus in 1984 as a walk-on freshman, so to speak, and 37 years later, I'm still sticking around and certainly proud of being a part of the program and what it's done for me and all the relationships I have from it, and certainly thank everyone for getting on today. But this is a unique year for us, one that we never would have anticipated or even dreamt about, probably, that we'd have now what is a spring and a fall season without sports for the most part, and then entering in the winter with some uncertainty. We're really grateful and appreciative of the opportunity that we got to practice for better part of 5 weeks. I think we got 20 practices in before we got shut down 2 weeks ago. And the student athletes have been tremendous. They've been positive and appreciative of the opportunity to be working out, to be together. Certainly there's some frustration at times because we want more, but we're staying optimistic that when we get to January, we'll be back up and running, and hopefully we get some sort of 6, 8, 10 game schedule in February that gives us something to work for. And I think that's kind of where we're at this point. But something very unique, without a question, and we certainly hope we don't have to do this again anytime soon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Warren. And then you touched on it a little bit, and this was kind of in the question part, but since you hit on it, I'll ask you. I know one of the recurring questions that we got from people who registered and people on, when I see them out and around, they'll ask me about Husson. What does a possible schedule look like, best case scenario going forward? And how's that going to play out as far as like time frames, when decisions are made and things like that?
Sure, and Frank can jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong, but the NAC presidents and ADs have been meeting, and the ADs have put together a theory of a schedule that would consist of what looks like 8 games in conference. We'd play University of Maine Presque Isle, Thomas, Farmington, and who am I missing? Missing one there. we'd play all of them twice in a season that would play back-to-back Friday, Saturdays, or Saturday, Sundays through starting on January 28th. And then maybe have the opportunity to add 2 or 3 non-conference games. I know Colby's looking to play, University of Southern Maine's looking to play, and we're waiting to hear about St. Joe's. But so tentatively, we would return somewhere the first part of January, have to go through a phase 2 and 3 to get back up and running, but would have about 22 practices prior to our opening game, which right now, like I said, it's January 28th or 29th. I can't remember the date. And then play through the month of February. And right now, the rest of it's up in the air, whether we'd have a little conference championship on the east side with the 4 or 5 schools that can play. Certainly the idea of crossing over and leaving the state is really a long shot at this point, given the outbreak and the restrictions that the state has on travel. So, at the end of the day, if we get to play any games, we're going to be happy. But that decision will come. The president's moved that decision to the first part of January, wanting to see how the COVID situation kind of develops here through the month, and hopefully we can slow the spread down and get back into January with it being on a somewhat of an even plane, so that we could get back to practice and then be planning for some games in February.
No, I appreciate you answering that, because I know that's the question I get asked the most. Certainly, you mentioned Frank, and I saw you sign on Frank, Husson Athletic Director at Husson University. Frank, I'd ask you to maybe just introduce yourself a little bit and give some of the folks on the call here a little bit of your background as well. And thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for helping us out and doing this, Bobby. It's I could see this being a weekly coaches show type format during the course of the basketball season.
Sounds good. Sign me up.
Happy to be here tonight. I'm just started my 8th year at Husson. Came in 2013, so we're excited about that. Excited to be part of this institution and to work for Bob Clark and to work with Warren and Kissy and the other coaches. This is my 25th year as a collegiate AD and my 5th position at a collegiate institution. So it just means I'm getting old. But Warren was right on all the scheduling issues. Right now, we're just trying to find something that works and gives our kids the most opportunity to compete and to enjoy themselves that we possibly can put together.
Well, thanks. And we're also lucky enough tonight to be joined by 3 players that are currently on the team, two on the senior side, DJ and Justin, and then one new player coming in who's familiar to us all here in the greater Bangor area, Isaac Barney. And guys, I'd ask you to just, give us a brief. You don't have to go in depth, just your name, where you're from, high school you played, what program you're in. And then if you could think off the cuff, just one interesting thing that some of us might not know about you. Justin, you look like you're ready to start. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'm Justin. I'm from East Millinocket, Maine. I played at Skank High School, majoring in sport management, and then I'm going to get my master's in business administration my 5th year. Interesting fact about me. I know I actually almost gave up playing basketball, or I almost got less serious about basketball and more serious about baseball when I was in 7th and 8th grade, but decided to, do more basketball related things.
No, we're glad you kept at it for sure. And just
Thanks.
Not to derail us here, but you mentioned coming back. So it sounds like you may take advantage of the eligibility pass that the NCAA is going to give you to come back next year. Is that true?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. Yep.
Okay, good. So you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get some more schooling and education and more playing. That's awesome. DJ, you want to go next?
Yeah, my name's DJ Bussy. I'm from Arizona. I went to Sandra Day O'Connor High School. That's in Arizona as well. I'm in the sport management program as well, and I'm also doing my 5th year in my MBA, my business administration. And interesting fact about me, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go to FedEx for work while also doing school and everything like that.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Good for you. You had serious time management there.
Yeah.
Also, you said something about fifth. Are you going to follow kind of what JT's route is and take advantage of that eligibility? Is that your plan?
Yes, sir.
That's great. I look forward to watching both you guys in that extra year for sure. Isaac?
Hey, I'm Isaac from Glenburn, Maine. Went to Herman High School. This is my first year, like you said. I'm going for business administration and management. And I guess an interesting fact about me is that I own a detailing business on the side.
Oh, wow, great. It's good to know. Good to know. How do we get in touch with you?
You can call me or text me,
All right.
Facebook, Instagram, any of that.
All right, we'll look you up. So thanks, guys. Thanks a lot for that information. And what I think we might do, we'll go through some of the questions that the registrants set in. And an interesting one is, Warren, I know a lot of people are interested, in yourself, and we know a lot about you, but what's your staff, as far as your staff going into this year, kind of, your assistants? I know you have a strength and conditioning person as well. Just tell us maybe just a little bit about some of those folks.
Yeah, sure. Will Taylor's now been with us. I think this is year 5. He started on as our strength and conditioning coach. He was a graduate of Husson in '99 and played 1 year for us after transferring from University of Maine Presque Isle. And I know Ricky's really pleasure about that whole situation, but we're learning to live with that. So he does a tremendous job with our strength program. If you ask the guys, they love him and him all at the same time. They really elevated that program for us, and I really think we've built a great culture of that mentality of working out and getting stronger and faster and really making it a strength of our program. I think we always did a good job with it. I think, but in the last 5 years, it's become a real difference in our culture of, I think we've always had a championship culture. Now trying to take that next step to be successful at the national tournament. I think our strength program has been played a real big part of that. Chris Bryan is entering his 5th year as well. Chris is, I always classify him as a basketball junkie, and been a tremendous recruiter for us. He had a couple high school jobs before he came to us, and done a tremendous job recruiting and building relationships with our student athletes. And currently, he's working a little bit on the side with a vintage wardrobe business, which he's really excited about. And you can find him on all the social medias at White Lobster Vintage, I think his tagline is. And as my boys spend enough money over there, they'll tell you he's got some really good stuff. So he's done a great job with that, just like anything he's done in life. John Clark is actually in his 8th year. We were talking about that the last week we were practicing. He's been with us for 8 years, and he had a tremendous college career playing in Illinois and at a very high level. And he's a local dentist and does a great job for us when he can be here. He's a busy guy. And then our student assistant, we replaced my oldest son Nathan with our youngest son Luke as a student assistant. So it's good to have him on board. And again, he was just getting started with us before we got shut down. So, we're really consistent. We got a real consistent, kind of background, so to speak, in our assistant coaches, and really have a great working relationship with each other and our student athletes.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you giving us all those names, and I'll give everybody else a couple seconds to come up with a question if they have one. But I have one off the top of my head, and I know Sean can certainly relate to this. When you had the guys back this fall, and their practice, and I know you didn't practice them as much as typical, but just going against each other day in and day out. I mean, I know when Sean and I were there, you're just butting heads with your own teammates every day, but at the end, you got a game coming when you can start beating on somebody else. Like knowing that you weren't going to have any games this year, did you do, or what did you do different in practice, kind of make it, fun, or, you know what I mean? Like less of a grind. Did you guys do anything special that you haven't in other years?
Well, I think the whole schedule was different, and I think that probably really helped that mentality. Yeah. So normally we would start, on the second day of school with our workouts, and they'd have open gym, and we'd be off and running, and we didn't do anything until September 15th. So from September 15th to August 1st, we had, I think, 5 workouts in the weight room with a little bit of conditioning, and then we started in what was phase 2 on October 1st, which meant we couldn't scrimmage at all. So we had 2 weeks in which we were just doing 5-on-0 and shooting and that type of thing. So we didn't really get up and running with scrimmage situations until what was October 15th or 16th. And then we had about 3 weeks where we could scrimmage. But we were really conscious of making sure we brought our student athletes along slowly from a conditioning standpoint. They had essentially been dormant for almost 7 months, or certainly 6 months, and really conscious of not moving too fast so that we didn't have injuries. And, for the most part, we did not have any injuries through the 20 practices that we had. So we really thought we had a good time schedule and a real good approach. And so once we got to scrimmage, and they hadn't played again, they hadn't played in a scrimmage situation since April or March or April. And then, so they were so excited to play. I don't think they cared who they played against. And then we did a good job of mixing up the teams, every 3 or 4 days, changing the lineup so that you weren't necessarily going against the same guy across from you every day. And again, I'm really proud of our student athletes. Their approach every day was terrific. They took what we had the opportunity to do, and we kind of built on it each day. And really, we were in a really good rhythm, heading into that last couple of practices before we got shut down. So we're really optimistic about what we can do when we get back in January, and look forward to that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Warren. It's interesting. The schedule almost helped reduce that, what I saw as maybe, that grind. So that's good that it worked out that way. Isaac, I'm curious, yourself is coming in as a freshman. I'd just like to get your thoughts, like, heading to school and then, looking at the basketball, maybe any apprehension you had and kind of how that's resolved, and just some of your thoughts, if you wouldn't mind sharing those with us.
Yeah. So the biggest thing for me was it was such a huge gap for me for not playing a game. Every offseason, I'm going right into AAU, like continuing workouts, but having that shutdown was,
Yeah, I'll jump in just for a sec because some people may not be familiar. So Isaac had a kind of a season-ending injury his senior year of high school. How many games in were you, Isaac?
I think it was like 12.
Yeah, so just basically with the tournament, about halfway through his senior season, and they were having a great season, he had an injury. So just sorry to jump in there. I just kind of wanted to give context for everybody. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. So it was just a huge time frame where there's nothing happening. So coming back from that injury as well was also kind of its own struggle. But then once we got back, being told, like you can only practice and you have to wear a mask, and it was just uncharted territory. So I think it was the biggest thing for us was taking it slow, and it was a new approach going to a new school. But the transition was good. The teammates were very welcoming. The coaches are great. So I'd say the transition was smooth, but it was different than what I expected back when I first committed to Husson. But like I said, uncharted territory. You can't really have a game plan when the schedule is changing all the time. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And Rick, do you have any rebuttal to that? Yeah, I saw you shaking your head. Take yourself off mute if you have anything to add.
I just like he likes Coach right now. We've all been in that. We've all been in that seat. We all liked Coach once. So
for those of you who don't know,
while you were playing, I'm not sure that's a stretch to say that while you were playing, you liked me once.
No. Well, no, you're right. You're right.
Well, maybe as a freshman, I was still an assistant, so maybe
I didn't like Coach McGregor then.
Yeah, right.
Anybody have any? I mean, I've been asking questions. Does anybody have a question they want answered? Just jump in. Feel free. Anyone.
Hey, Coach, are you worried about recruiting at all with no games and no games in the region, really? Right? I mean.
Yeah, I think my bigger concern with the recruiting is our current roster. We've got. We practiced with 16 through this first semester. We have two athletes joining us the second semester. Parker Dupree, who had a hip injury and surgery that he stayed home and did remote learning, will join us in January. And then James Lindsay from University of Maine-Machias is transferring in. So we'll have 18 guys on the roster, and theoretically, no one using a year of eligibility. So our greater concern is, where do we put a recruit? And I think that's a real concern kind of throughout the country, right? And so one, there's an opportunity for us to recruit student athletes that may have been that borderline scholarship or Division II player that there's not going to be scholarships available because they're in the same boat. And then, where do we put someone that we're recruiting? So we've been very slow to the recruiting table. We're talking to 3 athletes in the state of Maine right now that we like, and we'd like to get a little bigger. We're a little thin at the 5 spot right now, so we'll selectively recruit by position and then look at opportunities as the recruiting season goes on. Certainly, I spoke to 2 coaches in Florida last month. Florida is a full go in their high school schedule. They do not plan on having any restrictions in their play or their approach as of 3 weeks ago. So some regions they'll be able to play and we'll be able to see. And of course, we've done some recruiting in Florida over the years. So we'll pick and choose where we go. We really like our roster. We think all the pieces are there to build off, how we played at the end of last year once we got healthy. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But certainly this concerns, kind of in all avenues. And I'm concerned about the seniors coming out this year, them all finding a place, because almost every Division 1, 2, and 3 school in the country is going to be looking at the same thing.
That's a really good question, Rick. I was curious about that too. And what's it look like in practicality? I mean, are you going to be are you Zooming with these recruits and things of that nature? Or are they sending you, junior year game tapes? What's that look like?
So we use a PowerPoint in the recruiting process that we share with the families to kind of go through, our program. So that works really well on Zoom. The 2 of the 3 athletes in the state of Maine, we had initial Zoom with them and their parents, and then they came to visit campus in the state. So we're able to do that. But even late recruiting last summer, we were talking to some athletes out of region, and we were Zooming and using our PowerPoint to share. And then, we're relying on contacts that we have throughout the country, and as well as, everyone has a video. Everyone has a game film, so there's plenty of opportunity to evaluate and see things. And so again, I think what we've all learned is Zoom has the ability to kind of connect us in ways that we might have not thought of before if we weren't regularly using Zoom. But it's been really, really good tool for us in recruiting outside the region, and in this case, even in the region, in the state, for us to make an initial home visit, which we normally would do in state, where now we did it in Zoom.
No, great. That's great. Any other questions? Anybody,
Yeah.
feel free.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, Bus.
The legend, Buster
Oh,
Frederick.
how's it going?
Hey, everything's good. Everything's good. Hey, Coach, man. How's the guys? I heard you say you was practicing earlier and stuff before y'all had to stop. How's the guys feeling about each other? I heard Isaac say that everybody welcomes him in and everything. How's the camaraderie? How's that going?
Well,
Especially with you guys not being able to play. Y'all practicing now or no? I got it.
we've been shut down for 2 weeks because of a little bit of outbreak on campus and in the community. As far as everyone getting along, it's a really tight group. I mean, everyone likes each other, except maybe some guys don't like JT so much, but we work around that a little bit. No, I'm just pulling JT's leg. But we've got a really tight group. I tell you that the mentality that we've approached our workouts and our practices, and they've been really grateful about the opportunity. They've been some really good leadership from JT and DJ on a daily basis with all of our guys, particularly our young guys that we think are going to have an opportunity to play in the rotation if we get to that point. So this is one of the closer groups, particularly the limited amount of time we've been able to spend with each other. They've really come together quickly and really practices, I thought, and I'll let DJ and JT and Isaac kind of chime in here, but I felt like practices were intense. They were spirited. They had good energy with each other. And that you could see that carrying over when they left the gym as well, and how they kind of play with each other, so to speak, off the court.
Okay, I heard you say that you thin on the fives and whatnot. So what's your height wise and your numbers are?
Yeah, well, we've got a big at 6'8" and a kind of a stretch 4'5" at 6'7". So we've got size, and we've got half a dozen guys at 6'4", 6'5". So we've got good size. We just like to have another big on the roster. Obviously, if someone to get hurt, we get thin there.
We always hope nobody get hurt, but I hear what you're saying.
If you had a year left, even at the young age of 50 something.
Hey, I found out I do have a year eligibility left.
No, you don't.
I do too, Buster.
Bobby does. But
Me too.
Sean or Sinky could give us a few minutes. Well, Sean could give us a lot of minutes. Sinky couldn't give us but 2 minutes at a time, if that. So
I'll spot up though.
you spot it up. As long as you don't ever take that ball out, Rick, you'll be all set.
Hey, I've been doing social distancing defensively for a long time.
No one's ever been better at it.
Right in, Rick. Right in, Rick.
Hey, Warren, when you say you're looking for a 5, do you? I know it's not a must, but do you look at if they can shoot a 3-pointer?
Well, I think our system has morphed a little bit to the idea of more guys that can shoot the 3, the better. Scotty Lewis, who's a sophomore for us, had a very good freshman year. Is one of those 6'7" stretch 4-5s. We'd take guys like that all day long. Cam Wood, who transferred in from Southern Maine, started 25 games for Southern Maine last year, is more of a traditional big, which is fine. We've got a couple things in the system, so depending on who's on the floor, we can go a few different ways. We can play a little bit of a traditional post game, or we can spread the floor with 5 guys. So we're conscious of who we have on the roster and try to have some things in place for the different lineups we might put on the floor. But finding traditional bigs are harder and harder because they all want and think they can shoot the 3, and that's okay. We look at it as that really opens the floor up when we put Scott Lewis at the 5. It really opens the floor up for us to get to the rim and stretch the floor with our 3-point shooting.
How many freshmen you got, Warren?
We have 7 freshmen. We've got a really good balance on our roster. We got 3 seniors, 4 juniors. I think it's 6 sophomores and 7 freshmen. So
that's a lot of guys, man. I thought you only had 15.
Yeah, excuse me. So I got that wrong. We got 3 seniors, 5 juniors, 3 sophomores, 7 freshmen.
Okay.
So we've got 18 on the roster right now.
Oh, okay.
That's counting 2 guys coming in the second semester, but we've got really good balance. It's not unusual for us to have 6 or 7 freshmen, with the idea that, usually 2 of them don't return, 3 of them don't return. So we've got a good balance on the roster. We really like where our roster's at. Our biggest concern with the roster is, where do we put, 3 guys from, the incoming class, which is kind of what we're pointing to, having 3 guys come in for next year. Would be a little bit of a smaller class for us, but it would give us a roster of, 20, 21 guys.
All right, one more thing. I got the tail end of your schedule. I heard something about January, February, going into February. When you guys predicted to start?
Well, if everything goes right and the NAC presidents approve the schedule that's proposed, our first game is that last Saturday in January. I don't know if it's January 28th or 29th. We would play Farmington back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. I think the following weekend we'd schedule to play Thomas or Linden. I can't remember which. So we'd play 4 weekends in a row. We play the same team on the back-to-back, whether we're home or away. And then, Frank and I have had the discussions about adding in a couple non-conference games. I know Colby's looking to play, USM's looking to play. I think St. Joe's is still waiting to get the go-ahead to schedule. So if we could add 2 games there, that would give us a 10-game schedule. And then really the NAC conference tournament playoffs is still in the air. We won't know that definitely until January. But even if we didn't have that, that's okay. I think if we could play that, again, a 6, 8, 10-game schedule, we'd be very, very happy with that, to just get the opportunity to be on the floor and have our guys get to play.
Keep me posted because I like to come watch.
Well, we'll keep you posted.
I got a question for DJ. DJ is as a senior member of the team, obviously going into this year, you were gonna, I'm sure you felt some kind of responsibility as far as leading the team, but now with all this, kind of extra, if you will, on top of that, what kind of responsibility or feelings did you have about coming into this year as a senior leader?
Coming in, I didn't really know what to expect whole season with the whole pandemic, but I think just getting into my role and what I'm just currently doing, practice, anything like that, I've just been just bringing the positive energy, bringing in positive energy, whether it's just, cracking up a joke or, just getting people to where they need to go or anything like that. But I think that's typically my role, just bringing in positive energy, because
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Positive energy. I like that. That's a good saying, man.
just gotta keep people smiling, and we have a good group of guys. And I just think, even just like, just getting people together and just having positive, just what I'm trying to do.
That's great. That's a great plan. I like that a lot.
Keep each other uplifted.
For sure.
Go ahead, Sean.
I got a comment and then a question. The comment, I'd like to commend Justin, DJ, and Isaac, first of all, for taking the time to do this, and also showing the resolve to stick through this unprecedented times with this COVID. I don't know what it would be like. I can't imagine being in your early 20s in your college career, just being flipped upside down by this pandemic. But I'd like to commend you for sticking it out and taking it serious and doing what you have to do so you can be successful in the future. My question would be for either Warren or the athletic director. Have you guys been testing on a regular basis? And I have a son that plays football, and they've been able to practice because they've been getting tested twice a week, basically, and they've been staying together in smaller groups, but there's 100 guys, and they've still been able to kind of manage up to this point.
So we our athletes get tested once a week and have been tested once a week since the second week of school. Even though we weren't fully going, they were still being tested once a week. All high risk sports. So that would be men's and women's basketball, football, and volleyball. Were all tested once a week, and then the fall, when they were in season practicing, I believe were tested once a week as well. And when we return in January, the NCAA guidelines is that we move that testing to 3 times a week. And I believe, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is our plan. If we're able to return and start up in January, men's and women's basketball will be tested 3 times a week as part of that NCAA guidelines to return to play. So we'll test. We've been testing regularly. Guys have been doing a great job of getting to testing, and for the most part, we have had no incidents in that realm. So we've been in good shape. The university's done a great job. I commend Janine Gamitter and the training staff and the medical personnel on campus for kind of guiding us through this process and making tough decisions. And even when those tough decisions are contrary to what a coach or an athlete wants, they've made those hard decisions. And I think what we want to keep in mind is the safety of all of our athletes and our staff and our students on campus, and they've made those good decisions, and we certainly supported them as we move forward. And I think that's all we can do. This is we can get caught up with we want this or that. At the end of the day, we've advocated for ourselves, but we've supported the decisions that have been made, and we'll take what we can get. And so far this first semester, we had a chance to be on the floor 20 times. We'll take that. We'll have a 6.5 week hiatus here January 4th. And if we get back and we're able to get back on it on January 4th, we'll phase ourselves in January to get ready to play. Hopefully, like I said, a schedule in late January and February.
And one last question. With that, if you get back to playing games, are they looking at having no fans, parents, or are they going to open it up? I don't know what the state of Maine is allowing.
Yeah, so I think right now, if Frank were to answer that question, and he can nod or cut me off, but we would proceed with no fans at this time. Now, if things improve in January and the state changes some mandates, we might allow, a small group of parents in. But, we're fortunate that all our games are broadcast, online so that everything can be viewed. And, we've even had some conversation with NESCOM about, maybe doing some full productions, which would even add to that element. So I think we'll adapt fine to that. Again, the opportunity to play no fans is better than no opportunity to play. But really it will depend on what the state mandates. If they move indoors to, maybe 100 people, we might have 25 fans with all the personnel in the building.
Yeah.
I think that's to be decided. The first thing we're going to decide that we've got a schedule, then we can decide what that looks like.
Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, this is for Justin. You've been around now for a little while, so tell me your assessment of this year's team compared to the previous teams you've been on, and also tell me what you think it's going to be like playing with no fans.
Yeah, this year's team, I really like our team this year. I think, when we're healthy and we're moving the ball, that's one thing Coach in the short time we had together, that was one thing he preached a lot when we finally got to play 5-on-5 is move the ball, make the extra pass. I think we have a lot of guys who can shoot. I think we have a lot of guys who can do a lot of things very, very well. So obviously really excited. Hopefully we get to play, and I really like this team. Playing with no fans. I mean, I've played in AAU gyms with no fans before. You got to create your own energy. As a team, we have to be energetic on the bench. 1 through 18, whatever we're gonna play. Just creating our own energy and not needing fans to play at the same level we would with fans.
I remember some games up in Fort Kent where we had no fans when I was there, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Buster, like 4 people there. So
I'll add a little to that. You look at our roster and, our last game in the semifinals last year in conference play, and it really felt like in the last 7 games last year, we really started. One, we were healthy. We weren't healthy throughout most of the year. Both DJ and JT, had injuries. We went through a 2-week stretch in late January where I'm pretty sure I think we had COVID go through the team because JT had a pneumonia, which really could have been COVID. And we went 2 weeks and didn't practice 5-on-5 for 2 weeks because we had so much sickness. Kind of got ourselves together in February and really started playing some good basketball. And if you look at, the last game of the year, the 10 guys that played in that, 8 of them are back. And, they played 174 minutes in that game. So, then that nucleus of student athletes that played in the latter part of the year, and particularly the playoff games, we've got that group back, and we're really excited about Isaac's, what he can bring to the table, and then Cam Wood is a transfer who started 25 games in the 5 spot, and then Jeremy Marotta that was a first team All-State player out of New York that really brings some qualities of to the table. And you couple that with all the guys back, we're really excited about what we can have and how we can play. And I know I mentioned this, but we've by design have a number of different ways to play depending on who we want to put on the floor. So we really liked what we saw, in the last, particularly the last week of practice. I think the last practice we had was by far the best intensity we had. There was good energy. There was some really good plays. Both JT and DJ as seniors are playing really well and doing a good job of leading us, on a daily basis, no matter what we're trying to accomplish.
anybody? You mentioned that 6.5 week hiatus, Warren. What's that look like for the players? Like, kind of what's the game plan there as far as, how many are going to be around, what you're going to do, like conditioning and things like that?
Yeah, so Will, who's on the call, and I have talked about this a couple of times. We will, probably after Thanksgiving, start up with workouts. We've ordered some bands for the guys, and hopefully they come in so we can get them to them before they leave for Thanksgiving. We do have about 10 guys that live in the area, either an apartment or this is where they live. So hopefully if we can get the gym open a little bit to get in to shoot, guys can get some shots up. But we'll probably work out 3 days a week via Zoom, just to kind of keep our guys active and muscles movement and that kind of thing, so that we're in a baseline of conditioning when we get back in January. The NCAA gave us 114 days for the season. Normally it's a 19-week season that concludes at the end of February, and then whatever happens in postseason, doesn't count. This year they provided us 114 days. We've only used 22 of them. So even if we use another 25 in December, we'll still have plenty to get through January, February, and March for whatever we have coming back. So the goal is to maintain some level of conditioning. Certainly we're not going to get in better shape just working out with resistant bands and push-ups and sit-ups and squats and all that. Coach Taylor can put them through a pretty good workout via Zoom, which we did a little bit there last spring or excuse me, late summer, just to kind of get guys, somewhat ready for returning. So we've got a plan in place, and our guys are good. Like I said, the culture that we have now that our student athletes have created and we've set an expectation for, they want this. They want to be in shape. They want to come back ready to go. And so I'm confident that our student athletes will be right there every day that we have a Zoom workout and get themselves ready for January.
That sounds like a good plan. Anyone have any questions? I got all kinds if no one has any.
What is the school schedule like? They're coming back when the schools start again. They get out at Thanksgiving, then they don't come back until mid-January?
January 29th, I think, is the first day back for us. So we're done next Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow, we're done with in-person learning for the most part. There'll be some of this, like pharmacy and PT, I think will still be here because they have lab work. The last week of the semester after Thanksgiving will be remote. And then finals the following week will be remote as well. I do know, talking with some of the guys, I think some of their classes are finishing up this next week. So before they go home for Thanksgiving, a number of them will have their finals taken care of, but it will roll into the first 2 weeks of December to finish up the semester. And then we don't come back until, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, but I think it's that Monday, January 29th or 30th. We're pushed all the way into the last week. No spring break for us. So
First day of classes is January 25th.
25th, excuse me. And then we'll go no spring break. So we'll go right through until roughly the last week of April.
No school in December?
No, nothing in December. No one will be.
Just like old times, Buster.
I want to go back to school now.
It's online. You still got to go online, boss.
I get somebody to do that for me.
He would have shown up online about as often as he showed up in person.
Hey, Frank, I had a question for you. Can you give us some kind of an idea about the level of activity, communication-wise, you've been involved with in the last 2, 3, 4 months? I have to feel like you've been zoomed out. Can you kind of give us some of that?
Well, I'll go back to March. Literally from I was with the women's basketball team, and we were in I think SUNY New Paltz or in the first round NCAA tournament, and in the tournament meetings, they started talking about the players shouldn't shake hands, and then that led into the next day and the next weekend. You started hearing about schools that were going to play games with no fans, and then the NCAA shut down the Division I tournament, and it was all over. But literally since that middle of March, I feel like I've been in a meeting, at least one, every week. And the pile of documents that has come out, mostly medical type documents, is just almost impossible to keep up with. Because you got to read these documents, then you got to try to understand what they say, which is a little bit different. We're fortunate. Warren mentioned our sports medicine staff and our team physician. We've gotten a lot of help from them in terms of moving our way through this stuff.
How fast is everything changing? I mean, I know it seems like almost week to week, in our state, but from your point of view in collegiate athletics, like how often are the rules changing and things like that? I mean,
Fairly often. It seems like the period leading up to fall sports, of course, we made our decision in the middle of July that we weren't going to compete with the fall sports. We were just going to practice. But the information kept coming, and it's pamphlets and documents and information that you got to keep up with, and so that you can make intelligent decisions.
I think the other piece to add to that, Bobby, is it's not just coming from one direction. So you have the NCAA with their guidelines, constant conversation with the NAC about whether to play, and if we play, what's that look like. You have the state giving you a certain set of guidelines as well, and then institutionally we're making decisions on campus. So I think it's a four-pronged attack, almost on a daily basis, where a lot of those are changing regularly. One thing I think that is critical for collegiate athletics in the state is that the state of Maine exempt professional and collegiate athletics from some of their overarching rules and said that they could be governed by their conference or national affiliation. So that does open the door for us to play, aside from whatever restrictions they put on the AAU, the high school level. So I think that was a real critical decision that the state put out that allows us at least the opportunity to explore to play. Because if we had to abide by the state guidelines, we wouldn't have that opportunity. And I think we're fortunate that the University of Maine at Orono is a Division I school, and they don't have a game in the state. So if Governor Mills had made a different decision, that would have shut down the University of Maine, which they don't want to do. And I think that additionally helps us because whatever they allow the University of Maine or Orono to do, it's likely they're going to allow University of Southern Maine, University of Maine of Presque Isle, and University of Maine of Farmington to do something similar. So again, those are opportunities that really set us up to have a potential schedule. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think I really commend Frank and again all the people that worked on it. But the information, I truthfully stopped looking at it, because it was too much. I appreciate you forwarding it, Frank, but just tell me what we can do. And
Yeah.
it was, the NAC would come out with guidelines, the NCAA would come out with guidelines, the state would adjust what they said we could do. And so it was an inundation of paperwork and again, changing every 2 weeks because of whatever the circumstances surrounding it.
You mentioned that championship culture that has been there, before I was there and probably even before you were there, that Coach McGregor started to build the day the gym was constructed. What can you have realistically? I know with that championship culture comes along goals every year, right? I mean, with this season, and it's an unfair question, I know, but what kind of goals have you set for yourself or maybe verbalized to the team for this season, if in fact it takes place?
Well, I think the mindset that we've put out, and I'm not sure we would say we specifically talked about it, but I think just in our approach is, whatever we have the opportunity to do, we're going to try to do the best with it. So if we just get to practice, we're going to work on getting better every day in practice. And if that means we're looking to 21-22, then we'll look to 21-22. But we're going to get better, we're going to get stronger, and we're going to take what comes to us. If we get the opportunity to play, and somewhere along the way there's an opportunity to play for a championship, well, then when we know that, then we can shift that mindset a little bit. But right now, I think the gratitude of opportunity is what we're working for. And when that opportunity becomes clear of what we can do, then we can adjust a goal to say, well, let's win every game we play, or whatever the case may be. But I think the times just dictate that we've got to be grateful. We're grateful that no one's sick, grateful that we have the opportunity to play and practice with each other, that we are in some sort of form of normalcy in our world. When, one of the things I said to Nicola was, I've come home 2 weeks here in November at 4:30. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I literally, for 37 years of my life, October 15th meant we started practicing and didn't end until March. We should be 2 games into the season right now, 3 games into the season right now, and we're not even going. So, it's been weird to, I'm supposed to head to the gym for practice and I'm going home at 4:30. And I'm sure for the athletes, it's the same way, for 15 years of their life, or certainly 10 years of their life, that this time of year meant basketball. And right now we don't have that. So, for us, we've just talked about being grateful for what we get. Don't get discouraged. We got shut down 2 weeks ago. We thought we were going to be able to start back up Monday, and different things happened and we couldn't. And our goal is not to be discouraged. It's where we're at. I really feel confident that our opportunities are better than 80% of the schools in the Northeast. I know a number of them aren't even, they don't have students on campus, or they've completely shut down through the whole semester. I know, talking to a couple coaches in California, we're supposed to make a trip in December in California, which obviously got canceled. We actually moved it to next year. They don't even have students on campus. They don't even have any opportunity to work with their team at all. So again, I think the mindset is to be grateful for what we get and what we're able to do, and that we all stay healthy and we continue to move forward with, good news on the vaccines, and hoping that the spring brings, a better fortune. And think about a spring sport. If they cancel spring season, every high school and college athlete as a spring athlete in the Northeast, as a junior and senior, never played a game. I mean, it's just a game. I get it, but it's such a big part of our athletes' lives to have that taken away. I just feel for them. So again, just trying to be grateful for what we get to do, and keep moving forward in a positive manner. And I think DJ hit it on the head. Both him and JT and some of our other upperclassmen, have come to the gym every day, just ready to go. Whatever we can do, we're going to do. And I haven't gotten a message that said this is BS. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? I think we're all in this together in a real positive manner.
Well, I certainly like that theme, the gratefulness. And DJ, I really like what he said about the positive energy, because, there's so much negative energy out there around every corner now, wherever you turn to. So to have that is truly great. I know we're getting up against our hour here. Anybody else have thoughts? Oh, and I would add that it's not just you guys, right? I mean, I always look forward to going to the games too. I went to a lot of Herman games. I know Ricky saw me in the gym, and so we're all going to be starting to feel it here soon, especially as it gets dark at 3:40 every day. And, the only thing to look forward to that night is going to the gym or watching some streaming. So I think we're all kind of dealing with it, maybe obviously less than you guys day to day, but in our own small way as well. And sorry, Christine, I think I cut you off there. Apologize.
Nope, you didn't cut me off. Keep going. You're good.
Did anybody have any, I'll maybe let Warren or Frank close us out here, but did anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I got one for Warren. Warren,
Go ahead.
you said you was in touch with with some of the coaches in Florida, and they're playing. How they get into play? And I mean, I know it's high school and whatnot, but what are they doing that the state is allowing them to play, whereas other states are not allowing kids to play?
Well, that's a political question, I think, Buster. So I'll dance around it carefully. But, I think the South as a region, for the most part, played football, played fall sports. They've kind of, somewhat ignored the theory of COVID-19. Whether that's been a good decision or not, I don't know. But the 2 high school coaches I talked to said that their season is on, full. They're going to start practices up as normal. Again, that was 3 weeks ago. As areas have increased levels of COVID positive tests, that may have changed a little bit. But I don't have a good answer for you on that, except just the theory of things that they've gone forward like it didn't happen. So.
I got a friend, he referees and stuff, and he's been going to New Hampshire to ref. I don't know if it's high schools or just
AAU. AAU had been going strong all
Yeah, that's right.
all summer and fall, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, Ricky, you might know better, but they got shut down 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they can't do anything until December 14th.
Yeah. High schools and AAUs are now in the same community guidelines.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the AAU world went all summer throughout the state and New England for the most part, and just recently got kind of shut down. And really, they did it successfully on the basketball side of things. It was hockey that really had some issues with some outbreaks in different areas. But you know,
Yeah, we tried to do a summer league for the kids here out in the park, and the first game was pretty good, but the second game it was just too many people.
Yeah.
So they shut it down.
Too many fans, Buster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the park. It was outside. They thought they could control it, I guess, but when you don't have anything going on and then something starts, everybody wanted to see.
Right.
So it was unfortunate for the kids, the high school kids, but yeah, they wound up shutting it right down for fear of 19.
Go ahead, Rick. You got a question?
I was just gonna, I know we're getting close to the end, so I just wanted to make sure I got this out. JT and DJ, you guys are sports management majors?
Yes.
Is that right? So if you're ever looking for an internship, I know an AD that's in a town real close, so I can maybe help you out with that. And Varney, if you need to get into a gym over break, you can reach out to me.
All right, I will for sure.
All right.
Really
Can I
do
join him?
Sure.
Yeah. And if you need your vehicle detailed,
That's right.
Isaac's prices are outrageous.
All right.
all what the market bears, JT. All what the market bears.
Yeah, we get customers, so it can't be that bad.
Relatives don't count.
All right.
As long as they're
thanks for
paying.
Well, thank you everybody so much for joining us tonight. I hope, as I think maybe Frank mentioned in the open, maybe we can make this some kind of a regular get together, either officially or unofficially. And just want to thank everyone for being in attendance tonight. It's really nice to see some familiar faces and get to talk some hoops. So thank you. And I think Christina mentioned before, this will be up on YouTube on the Husson Alumni channel.
Correct. If you go to husson.edu/alumni, you'll be able to find a link there. It will be up by the end of this week on there. And we have some of our past events that have been football, baseball, field hockey, and softball, I believe, are all up there for you to view if you want to take a look at some of those as well. So thank you all. Thank you very much, Bobby, for moderating, and thank you for your time, Warren and Frank and Isaac, JT, and DJ. Thank you all very much.
I'll just close with this thought that on the call at some point in time tonight, from a basketball alumni standpoint, every decade was represented except the 70s. So Vic was part of the program in the 60s. We didn't have anyone from the 70s, but Sean was the 80s. We got a number of you from the 90s, Bobby, Ricky, and
I was the 80s too.
yeah,
Me
you were
too.
the 80s. I forget.
'80s and '90s.
I know I should have been in the 70s,
We
but
could have said the 70s, and then we had someone from the 2009 with Blaine and Scotty Kissinger was on, and then the 2010s to 20 was well represented as well. So again, I think it really speaks to the program and the historical nature of the program. We're all so connected, whether it be from guys from the 60s right up until our current roster. We all share the same stories, the same feeling of the program, and that's what makes it so special.
I'm old enough to represent the 70s.
You are. Maybe even the late 60s. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
John,
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care,
Good to
See you,
see you
Buster.
guys.
Bill.
Take care.
All right.
Stay safe.
Nice seeing
Yeah.
y'all guys.
Yeah, man.
Bob, Warren,
Stay safe.
Yep, you too, boss.
next time you do it, I'll be on again. Let me know.
I will for sure.
Me too.
Nice seeing you, Rick.
You too, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. Nobody want to leave.
Last call, Bus.
I got my water.
It was like old homecoming.
Ditto.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.